Spirit move, someone else shows up, but most of the time we do, and so we begin to think about it. But as I got home today, and really still didn't have a lot of direction on what the Lord had for us tonight, and I was sitting there on the couch, and the Lord just spoke to my heart. For I am the Lord, and I change not.
Right.
A lot of things change, but I'm glad that God don't change.
Amen.
I read a little thing today, and it sort of went with this. But it said on a small island after a large earthquake in one of the third world countries, someone noticed a little lady sitting on the edge of some rubble. And as they noticed, she's sitting there and she had a smile on her face. And someone walked up to her and asked her, why was she smiling? Why wasn't she afraid after all the things that had just taken place? And she just simply looked up at them happily and replied, because I'm serving a God that can still shake the world.
Yeah.
Now that I'm glad I'm serving a God that can shake the world.
Right.
A God that does not change. Brother Sparks was telling us, I believe it was the other night, we was up at Laura and Lester's working in a black church, and an earthquake came and began to shake the house. Everybody began to get afraid, and they run to the altars, and they was getting excited. And because of the earthquake, said a little black sister hollered, shake them again, Lord, shake them again. And I thought, God is able to move. He's always been able to move. And I thought He has not changed. And I thought, I'm glad tonight that I'm serving a God that's still able. That's still able to move. And sometimes circumstances may look as if they've become overwhelming. Sometimes situations may become overwhelming, and we may not know what's going to happen. But I thought, I'm serving a God that's still in control tonight. My God has not changed. And I appreciate the Lord tonight. But as I begin to think about that, and I thought God's speaking here concerning His willingness to judge the oppressors in verse 5 of Israel. And then in verse 6, He's that the reason of Israel is not consumed is because the Lord changes not. And He is always, and He always will and always will be the same. But I thought nothing else in this world is that way.
Right.
I thought we change. Sister Kathy was telling me she was listening to an older preacher the other day. I don't remember which one it was, and said he was well up into his 70s, and he ran into someone he hadn't seen in years, and they recognized him. And they said, "You haven't changed a bit." And he made the statement, "I hope I'm not always look 70." Because people do change. But we can't help it. We're going to change. I ran into a guy over at Walmart the other day, Ronnie Grace, and I thought when we was little, he's somewhat older than me, probably 5, 6 years, maybe older than me, maybe a little more than that, but went to Pea Ridge with him and known him about all my life. Ran into him at Walmart the other day and stuck my hand out and said, "Hello, Ronnie, it's been good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time." And he stopped and looked at me and he said, "It has. Who are you?" He didn't even recognize who I was. And when I told him who I was, he immediately remembered me. I mean, he lived around the curve from us there for a while when we lived over at Wiseman Town. But I thought, we changed. I know I have definitely changed. But I thought God has not changed.
That's right.
I thought the earth changes. Customs change. I thought, we used to be customary for men to greet each other with a kiss. I'm glad some things changed, Brother John. I like a good old handshake. I thought things change. I thought churches change. Some for the good, some for the bad. But I thought everything does change. And I thought people change. They think that, like I said a while ago, how different things was 10 or 20 years ago. Brother Harold talking about his elbows are hurting him. And he's got a few years on me and mine's hurting. So I've only got other things to look forward to because our bodies begin to change as we begin to grow older. But I thought, I'm serving a God that has not changed. Well, not only has He not changed, but John, He cannot change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. I thought, I'm glad that I'm serving a mighty God. But I thought, but like I said, God never changes. He was just, holy, righteous, pure. He was powerful. In the beginning, He is just the same today. And I thought, like I said, friends and families change. Our jobs, our careers may change. I thought everything about us changes, but I thought God never changed. He is forever the same, and He is forever God, and He never changes. Well, the book of Psalms, chapter 102, verse 27, says, "But thou art the same. All thy years shall have no end." Speaking of God. Hebrews 1 and 12, "And as the vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail." I thought, I'm glad tonight that I'm serving an unchanging God. And I thought one thing about God is that His Word will never change. I thought, I remember whenever I was young, and my Papa Oliver, he worked and had horses, and he made axe handles and walking sticks and all kinds of things, and he sold those and raised vegetables. But I've been out there a few times whenever he would make an agreement with someone, whether it was trading horses or whatever he was doing. And a lot of times after they made it, they would grab and they would shake hands, and that sealed the deal. And that said, I have given you my word on what's fixing to happen. No matter what it was, if he agreed to make something for somebody or whatever it was, and he'd shake that hand, he sealed that, and he gave him his word. And I thought, used to, whenever a man gave you his word, then you could stand on that. Unfortunately, today it's not so. You can a lot of times people give you the word, and that's just a way of them to get off of something, to get away from something. But I thought, but God has given us His word, and I thought His word is not changing. I thought His word is an inspiration. In 2 Timothy 3 and 16, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the Scripture is of any private interpretation. For the prophecy come not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. And I thought by being saying that His word is infallible. Whenever God speaketh His word and He give it to us, and I thought it's not just a word that will pass away, but it's a word that will last with us. Oh, yes. I thought I preached last weekend and talking about the God and told us to have faith and to believe in God and to stand still and wait on God. And I thought and that's saying a lot. Whenever when we begin to face the trials and the tribulations and the troubles of this life. But I thought when we are serving a God that says, I will not change, Sister Marcia, then we're serving a God that we should have enough faith in that we can wait on Him. Because His word will not change. But I thought the problem so many times is that we are a people that think we have to see how things are going to turn out. Right. And I thought, and because of that, many times we begin to think that He's not going to move. But when He gives us the assurance that He's moving, then we need to let Him move. And I thought, but like I said, so many times we're wondering, how, Lord? I don't see no way that you can move. But then all the time, God is still moving. That's right. Because He has given us His word. that He is going to move.
Yes.
I thought His way His way is a way that's a straight way.
That's right.
And I thought He has not changed.
That's right.
He said, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go therein. And I thought, I'm glad tonight that I know that straight way. I thought when we begin to talk to others, and it seems like that, they feel like they've got some other way to get there. I thought yesterday we went to Danville and got on Highway 127. And I like to yard sell a little bit. I'm not really into it, but I'll drive by, and if I see a bunch of junk, and I'm not stopping. I'm not pilfering through junk. But I do like to yard sell some and just enjoy it, getting out and seeing things. But we got out and we went to Danville. We got on 127 and went all the way down through Casey County. And Brother Danny works down in Albany, Kentucky. That's part of his route down in there, right down next to Tennessee. And I've talked to people from down in that area when they call in at the plant and different things, and heard him talk a lot about it, and I just wanted to go. So we went, and we were sitting there at the Dairy Queen in Albany, and if you've never been to Albany, it's probably because you can't get there from here hardly. I mean, it's just that's just where it's at. And but we were sitting there, and Sister Kathy got her phone out, and I said, now, how do we get back home from here? And so she began to tell us, and there was a couple sitting beside us, and the lady looked at us, and she lived in Jamestown. And she said, there's no way you can get there from here. And so she just made it comical, and we began to talk, and I thought, because it was a long way, there was no simple way of just taking a shortcut. We drove all that way. Now we can't just take a road that's going to lead us back over to 75. And we had to go back through Monticello, down to Somerset, and come back through Mount Vernon, and it took us a while to get back to where we started from. And I thought, but I thought whenever we got on this road of salvation, and I thought we started on this straight way, I thought God has not changed. And I thought whenever He said, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And I thought He gave us this straight road to walk on. I thought He has not changed. And I thought as long as we're following after the leadership of God, I thought we are not going to get turned around. We're not going to get sidetracked. And I thought we're not going to get somewhere we shouldn't be.
Right.
I was out there and we was taking 127 and we came into, I don't even remember the little town there. I guess it was Jamestown. And they had one of those turnabouts. And I'm always fascinated with those little things. And Brother David, we pulled up there, and I told Sister Kelly, I said, look here, we got a turnabout. And we just went on around and went straight and got all the way down to the lake, and we realized we missed somewhere. And when we went through the turnaround, I should have went through. I should have made a right. But I thought, but a lot of times we get so excited about the things that's going around us, and we begin to focus on what's happening around us, and we forget to focus on the things that God's wanting for us, and go the direction that He's intended for us to go.
Right.
And I thought it's easy for us to look in the direction that we think things ought to happen, instead of waiting on God. And I thought I found out that so many times, if we don't wait on God, we can cause more problems in just a few minutes than we ever thought we could by just simply not waiting on God. And I thought, I'm glad I'm serving, a God tonight that has not changed. And I thought His way, as we know, is a way of salvation. And I thought His way is a way that Hebrews 9:22 says, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood. And without shedding of blood is no remission. And I thought, and without the blood, I thought we cannot make it. We can't do it. I thought we live in a time when it doesn't matter how they live or what they've done. Whenever they leave this life. And it's just natural for us to want to think that they're so much better. And I'd be safe to say that if you went to most funeral homes and you asked them which was their most popular caskets that they sold, it would be those with the phrases, "In God's care, we're going home." That's probably two of the most sold caskets there is in the funeral business, because that's what everybody hopes for. But I thought, if we're not really under the blood, I thought then we're at the judgment of God.
That's right.
And I thought there's a difference in being in God's judgment and being in God's care.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought I want to be in His care. And I thought I'm serving a real God
Yes.
that changes not.
Right.
His word never changes. His way never changes. He never changes His mind. And all we have to do tonight is trust in Him and believe. And He will never change. I don't know how many times have we just decided that we want to do something different. And just, we've got plans, we've got anticipation, but then we change. But I thought God never changes.
Right.
I know I'm not preaching no fiery message tonight. I thought sometimes we just need to be reminded.
Yeah.
God's not changing.
Right.
Not now.
And whenever it seems like things is falling apart, that's because we're living in a world that's full of change.
Right.
We're living with family. It's always, it seems like they're seeking change. But I thought, I'm glad tonight that I'm serving a God. It does not
Right.
change. I think it's a song. Maybe somebody else got something else or whatever. But I thought, whatever you're facing tonight, if God told you He's going to help you through it,
Right.
then He's going to help you through it.
Right.
And I thought a lot of times we look and we can't see the end of the problems. But I thought, God knows the end. We got home this morning, we got a text message. And my boss, Ray, passed away this morning. And called the name Sister Pauline. And we've been talking, a lot of uncertainty there. We worked at a place especially as long as Brother Danny had, but at least he's there where he can get a little Social Security to help him, I'm a long way from that. And but I told Sister Pauline, I said, I look and I realize all those times when I could have went somewhere else, but I felt the hand of God keeping me there. Right. And now that we're facing a lot of uncertainties, I said, Lord, you've brought me to this point for a reason. Help me to trust you. Help me to just depend on you, because you are not going to change. And I thought, whatever it is that we're facing tonight, God knows. But I thought, don't be looking to the right, or don't be looking to the left. Brother Harold was singing that song a while ago about when you're facing problems, there's only two ways you can go. You can look up to God and raise your hands, or you can let the problems bring us down low.
That's right.
The problem is, too many of us are choosing the latter. We're allowing our problems to bring us down low,
Destroy it.
to where that we can't
Right.
get to where we need to be with God. I thought, what are you facing tonight? I don't know. But I thought, I know that as I was sitting there today, and a lot of times I go home and I tell Sister Kathy, I've got to get my stuff together for the night. And today I told her, I said, I've just simply got to find something for tonight. I got to find the will of God for tonight, because I didn't have no direction. But I felt Him speak to my heart. I said, I'm a God that changes not. What are you facing tonight? As they get us a song, let's come to this altar.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank God. Thank God.
God.